Hey everyone, as you all know, we are trying a new process in the delivery of courses through the Canvas learning management system. So I thought I'll take you through an example of what we've done using PGDM 505 as an example. So right now I'm in the Canvas learning management system and I'm going to take you through the 5 modules that we've built for this particular course. One thing to pay attention to really is the layout of the course itself in the learning management system, as well as some of the things that you would need to do to help students be successful in that particular course. So one of the things that we're really focusing on here is the ability for students to be able to learn on their own, but with support from faculty. So we're saying they're learning on their own, but they're not truly on their own because they're getting support from faculty. Because this is a competency-based education approach where students actually walk away with all of the skills that they need to be successful in the workforce. So here's an example. A lot of you are already familiar with the look and feel of this Canvas learning management system. Right here on the left, you can see the different tabs, from home all the way to collaboration and files and all of the things that you're going to see in each of the courses. Announcements, obviously, is where you post the announcements to the students. So right now, I'm actually in the home tab. Now, there's a section here at the top, which is all faculty resources. Everything that you see in this section is not going to be published. We don't want students to see this. This is where you're going to find PowerPoints, for each course. Faculty expectations. This is where you're going to find information on all of the things that you need to do to support students. And we'll go through that very briefly. And also there's a test file here, a zip file for some of the tests that students are taking in the course. You don't have to build any of that. That's already built into the course. But this is one for you. It's provided here for you as a reference. And then any other instructor resources, they're all in this zip folder here. Okay. Now, this is where students start. Students need to understand how to access the VPC library and how to do basic research. So this is something that the librarian is actually provided. We're hoping that students will be able to take this as essentially a refresher, because a lot of them should already know how to search resources in the library, but it's a refresher to help the students remember the things that they need to do. So this is module 1. During module 1, you're going to have a mandatory class with the students. This is really the only time you need to meet with the students. The rest of the time, students are going to be working in Canvas, and then you'll be supporting them by coming in and ensuring that they're posting to the discussion. They're also completing the assignments on time. Ideally, each module should be completed in 1 week. So there are 5 modules, essentially 5 weeks. Some students can actually work a lot faster. So if you have a student who wants to fast track their learning and they feel that they can complete 5 modules in 3 weeks, of course, let them be our guest. They can do that. But you want to make sure that you guide the students so they can complete each module in no more than a week. So again, you don't need to meet with the students every week, but the very first module, students will need to meet with you. And there are points associated with having that mandatory class. If you click on this mandatory class meeting, you will see a lot of information on why this is really important. So I'm going to click on this so you can actually see it. So the purpose of this meeting is really to open a line of communication between the professor and fellow students, talk about the expectations for the course, as well as discuss, learning outcomes and the things that students will have to do in the course itself. So please try and familiarize yourself with the course, coming to the Canvas learning management system so students understand what it is that they have to do. The time and date of that mandatory meeting is something that you'll have to set yourself with a student. And that, again, is the only time that you really need to meet with a student. So this basically talks about the course description, the grading, and you can see the grading here. This is really important for the students. that there is one mandatory meeting, it's 5 points. There are 5 assignments in total. Each assignment is worth 6 points for a total of 30 points. There are 4 discussions, and each one is what, 10 points, which is a total of 40. There's 1 group project, which is 15 points, and the final test quiz, which is 10 points. And that's how the students actually get to earn everything they need for this particular course. So it's really important to be able to take students through this. So to navigate back, I just click home. That brings me back to the home page. And again, that's the mandatory meeting. And then after that, you can see an overview of Module 1. This is where they find information on the learning outcomes and the readings as well. And then this is their first assignment. And when you click on this, the assignment is pretty straightforward in the course. You find that here. And then the discussion is also here. Now, there's a group project. The group projects, students start working on the group project from the very first module, the first week. But you'll see that there are no points associated for this Module 1 group project because they start working on it. There are different components to this particular group project. They're going to submit this during Module 5, which is the last week of the course, okay? Module 2 follows the same kind of format. You can see that there is an overview of Module 2. There is an assignment, there's a discussion, they continue working on the group project. The same thing, they go to Module 3, they go to Module 4, and in Module 5 is when they submit the final project. And here is where they're going to submit to be able to earn their 15 points for that particular group project, okay? And all the information you need for the project is all in here. It says that this is a group assignment. Each group will comprise a minimum of 3 students and a maximum of 5 students. If at any point you find that there's only 1 student in the course, which I hope doesn't happen, then in that case, let the student do the assignment on their own. They definitely can still do it. It just means that we wouldn't expect so much breadth. Instead, the focus will be on ensuring that they hit all the key points for them to complete their assignment. In case you're wondering, what do I need to do the first time I come into the course? If you go into the faculty expectations, everything has been laid out here. So please spend some time in these faculty expectations to help you really familiarize yourself with the course itself. And once you are able to go through this, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. But again, this tells you about the course. This course does not have weekly virtual meetings, except for the first week when a virtual class is mandatory. So it's in here. During the first week, you're going to meet with the students to share the expectations of the course, walk them through every module in Canvas, set the early expectations, encourage them to ensure that they complete each module in 1 week max, but it's okay for them to work ahead of time, okay? For the rest of the time, you're going to work with the students online via this Canvas LMS. The course is designed for students to work at their own pace, but with guidance from you as the instructor. Again, while students can move rapidly through the course, they can't work too slowly because we want them to be able to complete each module at least in a week. And you can see that information is emphasized here as well, that each module is designed to be completed in a week. So if anybody is not completing a module within a week, we consider that student to be a slow pacer, and we're going to help them. So course due dates. When first time you're coming into this course, review the due dates for all the tasks for each of the modules. You might have to put the time for each one, okay? Or encourage the students to be able to complete each one during that week. So the first time you come into the course, feel free to set the dates. The due dates, essentially module 1 is a week, module 2 is another week. So if the course starts on a Sunday, you give them to the next Sunday to finish that particular module. So the first time you come into the course, set your due dates so the students know exactly what the deadlines are for each of the modules they're going to be working on. There are discussions in the course. Encourage students to share thoughtful posts, okay? And again, there's enough information here to kind of guide the instructor on what we're looking for. You know, we don't want a student to simply post something like, I agree, you make a good point. Nicely said to another student. That is not sufficient as a response post. We want students to add, value by responding to other students. We want them to do some research and ensure that whatever they're posting is something that is meaningful to other students, so that with that learning process can actually go in a very didactic fashion. So your job as an instructor is to come in and monitor the discussion board activities and ensure that students are responding appropriately. Sometimes you might also pose one or two follow-up questions to help guide and moderate the conversation. Okay, so that's discussions. There are assignments in the course as well. In the case of assignments, you want to make sure that students are submitting their assignments, they're following the assignment instructions, and during each module, you want to ensure as the instructor that you grade the assignments and the discussions at the end of each module. So that way, students know exactly how they're doing in the course, and they're not panicking and wondering, if they're going to pass or fail the course. And then, of course, we talked about a group project. You can see, it's okay to have smaller groups of 2 or 3 students. And again, if you only end up with 1 student, then it's okay for that 1 student to do it on their own. There is a test or quiz in Module 5. Most of them are based on multiple choice questions. In some cases, you might have, an exam where there are short answer questions as well. But for the most part, they're multiple choice questions. So 2 weeks before the course actually starts, before the class starts, as an instructor, you need to come into the course, review the entire course content, including assignments, discussions, the project work they have to do, and familiarize yourself with it. Put due dates for each discussion, assignment, project, and test. In other words, just put due dates for each module. Now, 1 week before the course starts, come in again into Canvas, check your student roster to make sure that everything is in order. If there are questions, you can help answer those questions. Now, it's really important as an instructor that 1 week before the course starts, that you post a welcome announcement, where you introduce yourself, share a brief experience about yourself and the course content, an overview of the course, just a few lines, and tell the students about your expectations. You expect them to come in and ensure that assignments and discussions are completed within each week that's been allotted for that class. Now, during the week of class, send an email to students who haven't logged in by the first day of class. Let them know what the expectations are. Again, with students, you have to keep reminding them what's important so they know exactly what your expectations are as the instructor. Send an email to any student who hasn't logged in by the 3rd day. Highlight the course expectations. Respond to student emails as quickly as possible so that students know that part of the engagement in that course is that they're having that constant dialogue with you as the instructor. Even though students are working on their own, they are never alone. And it's really important that this is reflective of the activities between the instructor and the students. So once the class starts now, you need to come in every day as an instructor to monitor the discussion board activities. Make sure every student is posting as they're supposed to. If they're not, you need to prompt them. At the end of each module, you need to grade and provide the feedback in the system. Here's an example of good feedback to students. We're not expecting you to write an entire paragraph, but when you're providing feedback, here's an example for submission. You can say to the student, your submission demonstrates that you understood the content because you touched on X, Y, and Z. The submission was substantiated with evidence of whatever the student provided. Nice work. Okay? If a student is falling short of expectations, you can provide feedback that's very basic. Your submission demonstrates this by touching on X, Y, and Z. However, your submission was missing A, B, and C. I would have liked to see you provide E, F, and J. And I know a lot of us have been doing this for a long time. The only reason I'm sharing this is because we're trying something different, which is really competency-based education format. It's not meant to tell anyone how to provide feedback. You're all professionals, you're all experienced in this. So please, that's just the whole point of reiterating this, because we're trying a different format. Okay. You may still need to do your attendance in AMP Educator. Obviously, that is still something you can use to check who is actually responding. And one way of doing that, the beauty of Canvas is you can see who logged in, when they logged in, how many hours they logged in for, and who hasn't logged in a while. You can easily track all of that. Instructor files, you can find them all in the file section or in the faculty resources section. That's one section that students all don't have access to. That is not published, it's only for instructors. So again, you can see some of the other information that we've provided here. Module 1 preparation. It's important that you have office hours at least once a week so students know exactly where to find you. Again, monitor the discussion board activities, review the course, confirm student groups for group project. For the first module's mandatory class meeting, review the content in the module, specifically the expectations for the mandatory class meeting. Pretty much every information that you need for this course is already built into this course. The whole point is to have something that does pretty much all you need. Module 2 preparation is similar. Make sure you have office hours again once a week. Continue to monitor discussion board activities. Do regular check-ins. The same thing for module 3, 4, and module 5. So this is really what you need to do for the course. In case you're wondering, what are my expectations as a faculty? Just come to the faculty expectations. Feel free to print this out and hold on to it, because this will be a really essential guide for you as you work with students in this particular course. And again, all the information you need is provided in the course itself. That way, everything is in one place. But do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions, and we'll be very glad to actually guide and support you as you help students. So looking forward to hearing from anyone who needs support. If there are questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My name is Andy Igunor. A lot of you have already communicated and talked to you, but if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Andy Igunor. And my email, my VP College email, you can easily use that to reach out to me. I will gladly spend time to take you through this course again. Otherwise, good luck, everyone, and I hope that you have a wonderful experience taking students through competency-based education. Thank you.